Hey guys. So there are a couple of things I want to address, and it will just be easier to record rather than posting on Slack. I realized that many people are not really following everything we're doing, partly because they are confused by how Slack works. There are so many messages flying around in different channels. So I wanted to clarify a few things. Firstly, you need to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. And this is not because we need subscribers. I mean, we currently have 44,000. There are only 1,000 people here, okay? So we do need you to subscribe because we do several videos. The point of joining the program is to learn. And the easiest way to pass across the message is to quickly record videos for you. Because things get lost on Slack. As a matter of fact, we are on the free plan of Slack, and that means eventually Slack will start deleting some older messages. And that means you can't find things. But if we record the video, then it's always on YouTube and you can always watch it. And even after the training is over, you can always come back to watch it and you can download it and keep it or whatever you want to do with it. Okay, so subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's very important because once we post a video, I mean, you can also turn on notification so that once we post a video, you get to see it and you can quickly watch it or save it for later or anything, but at least you don't miss it. Some of the questions that we keep getting on Slack are things that have been answered in the video, like, oh, I've logged in. How do I see my assignment? I can't even log in at all. It's saying 403. All those things have been addressed. And it's difficult to keep repeating the same response to each person at each point. So if you could please subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would make things much easier. That's the first thing I wanted to address. This might be a bit longer, okay? Just take your time, skip the parts that you feel like you don't need, and watch the part that you know that you need. Um, just so that we are all on the same page. Now, talking about the courses that you are going to be taking, um, unfortunately for us, we don't have that much time to thoroughly walk you through everything from A to B. I mean, for example, we can't have you enroll for every course and just try it out and then start removing the ones you don't want to do. We can't do that, you know. We have very limited time. We have a strict timeline that we have to work with. And that's why we can't do all of that. And that also means we would be really looking forward to you, looking forward to your willingness to find some answers on your own, okay? While we'll definitely provide as much guidelines as possible. I personally will record several videos addressing several things for the duration of your training. I have no problem with doing that. Most of the time, the videos are removed after the cohort is over, especially videos that are too specific like this one. This is not going to be useful for any future cohort, okay? So I will likely remove this after the cohort is over. So there will be a lot of videos recorded addressing those things, but we would also really like if you can also learn what it means to be in tech by finding some answers on your own. One of the things that would make a person stand out in whatever field, to be fair, is the ability to find answers. And if you have questions like, how do I reset my password? Those are questions that people will have experienced either in the workspace or generally on the internet. Okay. Those are things you can attempt to find answers on your own. You start by not panicking and feeling like you've been left behind. You start by settling down, wondering what you could do to find the answer and planning how to find the answer. Imagine the workspace is your access to the internet. You can maximize that access by asking questions from people who have gone through the same thing. That's the entire purpose of, tech communities, so that you can interact with those who have probably gone through the same thing you're going through, and they can offer a solution to you. So that's one thing, There are some questions you can definitely find answers on your own, and there are some that are a bit more difficult. But the search for an answer, while you're searching for that answer, you will discover other things. And I know this is probably things you already know, but it just doesn't click sometimes when you are dealing with, when you are in the middle of it. Okay, so this is a reminder for you to know that you can find some answers on your own. So let's go to the most prominent questions I've been getting regarding the specific courses you are supposed to do. What we have done, even during the orientation and generally, we've explained to you the tracks that are available. There are 3 tracks. There is the front end, the back end, and the design tracks. Under each track, except for back end, except for design, there are also specific areas you can take. There are general things you are supposed to do together in everybody in those tracks, and there are some areas that you have to specialize in. So let me just sort of go through that again to help those who are still struggling with it. So I'm going to log into the LMS as a student. I do have a student account. Right, so this is my student account. I would not be going through all this assignment stuff. The video is already here. You can watch that on the LMS, but I'll go to the post session section. So here we have general courses. Hopefully, I believe everybody understands what that is by now. But let's look at the more specific ones. That is back end. If you open the back end track, you will see we have two, like we've mentioned, we have 2 different paths available for backend. There is a Node.js and excuse me, and the PHP path. Now, obviously, this is Node.js. So if you are going for Node.js, you will register for Node.js courses. So this is Node.js. This is Node.js. Express, even if you don't know what Express.js is, the fact that it has JS in front should make you curious as to, oh, this is likely not going to be PHP. But let's just assume that you don't even know what that is. What I would want you to do, what I would have expected that you'll have done is to, okay, copy the name, or if you can, if you want to, what is Express.js? And from here, you can see it is a framework for Node.js. So this is how you typically find answers as a developer or as a designer or whatever it is you're doing in tech. No single person, even those who created the internet, I'm telling you now, don't know everything about everything. Okay, there is always somebody on the internet who has gone through whatever it is you're going through and will be able to offer some solution, either a full solution or part solution that would definitely point you in the right direction. Okay, so now we know that Express.js is a Node.js framework, and then that means you will enroll for that course. There is something called core JavaScript implementation. This is also a JS. Now, if you don't know what JS means, again, you just do what is JS, JavaScript. So now I know this is, I'll be doing this one because Node.js is a JavaScript thing. Express.js is a JavaScript thing. Obviously, if I'm taking Node.js, I would definitely enroll for this course because it is core JavaScript implementation for backend. If I'm doing Node.js, then I need to know the core JavaScript implementation that are required to do Node.js. Okay, so PHP core is obviously PHP. Core PHP is obvious PHP. Laravel, if you don't know what that is, again, the same principle applies. What is Laravel? It's a PHP framework. So that means if I'm taking PHP, I would definitely enroll for these 3 courses. Okay, so we've established that Node.js will do all of this, at least required for them. Everybody will do this because it is object-oriented programming. Now, imagine you don't know what that means. Again, the same thing applies just to what is object-oriented programming. And then it's explained to you what that means. And you can basically explore and search for videos and search for answers and things that explain. But this is something every backend person should know. So everybody taking backend will definitely enroll for these courses here and this course here. Okay, so Node.js people will register for at least this theory, at least that theory, in addition to these four. PHP will do at least this three in addition to those four. And then back end, Node.js would need to enroll for this and this. Now, it will be fine, to be fair, it will be fine because it's also very useful. It will be fine if PHP people decide that, okay, let me just try this out and try this out. But keep in mind, you cannot afford to fail any of these courses. Okay, if you enroll for any of these courses, and we keep stressing this because when you go deeper into these things, it becomes quite much. So only enroll for the things that are relevant for your course at the moment. You can do more in future, you can explore other tracks in future, but only enroll for the things that are necessary for you to, completely get the full scope of what you're supposed to learn in this particular course. So to completely clarify now, everybody in backend will do at least 1, 2, 3 courses, and this, okay? Everybody in Node.js, in addition to the four that I've mentioned now, will do all of this, and everybody in PHP will do all of this. Those in PHP can decide to do any of these two, and they can decide to do it because while they are JavaScript and more related to Node.js, they are not Node.js courses. So we said we have two different parts. We have the Node.js and the PHP part. PHP guys can still do this, but while it is not PHP, and in my opinion, I would recommend not to do it because it's not relevant to your particular course here. If you want to, it is fine because it is not exclusively Node.js part. While it is more related to Node.js, it might be, relevant to you to learn something about JavaScript. But if you have the time, the energy, and I don't know, the patience, I guess, to combine it, it's fine. You can do it. Okay. So that's for back end. So let's go to the front end part now. I think this is a bit more straightforward. Okay, everybody does this, 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 and everybody does this. But here you choose either this or this, and everybody does this. So it's that, front end is a bit easier. So the only ones you have to choose is either React.js or Vue.js, but you have to do all of the rest. All of the rest, you just have to select one of these two, but you have to do all of the rest and the project course. That's okay. So that's what that is. Design has no problem. Just register for all the courses, and you'll be fine. Okay. What else? I think that's it. I know there have been a couple of complaints about this guide. I went through it earlier this morning, and I also noticed some errors. Damilola has already fixed it. Damilola is the head of design for Zuri. So we'll be changing what we have here with the updated version, hopefully by tomorrow, once we do some final review. But that's that. Now, for those that have been saying, hey, I can't find the course, the setting up course. While in the other video, and I think this is the same account, it appears as the last item on my list. It doesn't have to be the last item, okay? So what you can do, you know what the name is. So just do a Control F in your browser and type setting up. So this is it here. I know this page needs to be a bit better. We need to have a search thing in here. To be fair, we've never done a program or a training or a course that has the ability for people to register for 60 courses before. Okay, so just bear with us. There are a few things in the LMS that are not, really designed for this number of courses, but it's going to be fine. So in this case, just search for the name, which is Control F, and search for it, and then you can enroll for it. I'm already, obviously enrolled for it. And as a matter of fact, for this course, It's one of those courses you can't enroll and leave. So you just enroll and you take it. You can't leave. Okay. I guess one final thing I wanted to say would be the CV assignment. No, you would notice the CV assignment is a cumulative course. And while it is not absolutely part of the things you've paid for, the tracks or whatever you've paid for, we believe in understanding what it means to have a goal and to work towards that goal. And now we want to know what who you are in terms of what career path you are on right now, what your level of growth is. That's why we ask you to upload the current version of your CV. Just pardon the coughing, okay? The current version of your CV, upload that. Now, a couple of people have said, oh, I don't have a CV. I mean, that's a very funny thing to hear, but it happens. Some people say, I don't have a CV and I have no idea how to create them. That's a good thing. One of the reasons why we come to this course is to learn how to do things. So there was, I think, a couple of, maybe 2 years ago, I had a premium class for people and I reviewed some CVs. So you can watch these videos here. It's basically me looking at different CVs, giving feedback and explaining what they could have done better. So you can watch these videos to sort of give yourself an idea of how to, create CVs. I think this one contains, yeah, just a couple of things. Just go through them and let me know if you have, I mean, you can ask questions directly under the video as a comment. That's fine. Or you can ask on Slack. But that's for those who are saying they don't know how to create a CV. Please don't forget, this is a cumulative task, and you might get more cumulative tasks this week. A cumulative task would contribute to your graduation or to your completing this training. So you have to do this task and make sure you pass it. It's not something you can just skip and say, I'm not going to do it. You have to do it and pass it. And I think that's all. Okay. You see, we normally change as much as possible, change the video here. So once you log in and you notice that, oh, this video I've not seen it before, I recommend just checking it out. If it's something you don't need, then you stop. If it's something you need, then definitely you should watch it and take actions. Okay, and yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say. Yeah, okay. Just reach out if you have any questions. You will get a couple of more assignments this week. And I really just want everybody to be settled in before we dive too deep into the training, and then somebody would be left behind. So make sure you complete all the things you're supposed to do. And I have seen a couple of people providing support to others. That's a great thing. I like saying that. If you do see people that need help, don't forget to help them. If you are able to help them, if not, just point them in the right direction, say something to them to help them to understand what they are supposed to do. If you can't, completely help them. But when we start giving, when it comes to assignments, you can't help people to do the assignments. You can tell them, okay, this is what I think you should do. This is what I did in mind. But you can't help them to do the assignments because you will not, in the real sense, you will not be helping them. One last thing would be all these tasks, we said they're expiring in 2 weeks. Don't don't assume that every task you get will expire in 2 weeks. The next couple of tasks might be a few days, 2 or 3 days or 4 days or something like that. Just make sure you check the time and add it to your calendar and keep track of it and make sure you do those ones that will expire first before you go on to do those ones that expire in 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's it. All right. Thank you all. And I'll keep solving some problems now. Bye.